All right, so we're back here once again here on a Wednesday night under lights here at Couch Coach Live. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man?
Yeah, nothing much, man. Just the same old, just working, grinding, man. The same old with me.
Yeah. I'm just same here, man. It's getting a little smoother, so I can't complain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and, football season now in full swing. So, we got some things going on. So we got a great show lined up for you tonight. So we'll talk about pretty much we'll recap week one of the NFL season. We'll talk about the unfortunate injury of Aaron Rodgers and what's next for the Jets. Will Tom Brady or any other quarterback be a part of this Jets team? We'll talk about that as well. We'll talk about week one overreactions. I know it's a few that I had. I know it's one that I think I'm really gonna stand on, and I might down the hill for this one, but it's worth it. And then we'll fast forward to week two of the NFL season. What's a matchup for us what's a matchup to watch this weekend? We'll do our pick 7 picks. Then we're gonna put a bow on the show and give our game ball and final thoughts, man. So what we're gonna do? We'll be right back. We're going to kick that intro. We'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. We'll be right back. And we definitely like that. You shout out to our guy, Big Kirko, even though he had the loss last week to our boys, Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Big Kirko, you still our guy. So we're back here on the Couch Coach Live. And before we get started, this show is powered by the good folks at SeatGeek. Head over to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code CouchCoach to get yourself $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And we got games lined up throughout the landscape of this country. So if you need to go to the game this weekend or you got a future game down the line, hey, man, use the promo code CouchCoach and get yourself $20 off. Hey, just trying to look out for you. If you want to go to these games, hey, I got you covered. So with that being said, so yeah, man, so let's talk about this football. We're back at it again. So yeah, we're here.
Right. Man, I feel like I feel like I should be more of an expert. My picks was horrible, man. like
it is what it is.
Right, like that Giants game, and I was sitting here and I talked to a gentleman at work, and he was like, "Man, they got Jones just running around acting like that's how he's supposed to play." You know what I mean? And then I'm sitting there, no, let's just talk about the Steelers, bro. I watched 5 minutes into it, and I said, "Man, I'm about to watch The Shy. I'm not doing that to myself." So then what happened about a couple hours later, get a phone call by the legendary Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you already know. I was like, "Man, are you serious? I haven't heard from you in 2 years."
Yeah.
Your team is sorry. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking to myself, I can't even say it's just game one. You know what I mean? I can't even say that, man. I don't know what's gonna happen. But he was like, "Yeah, next week."
Yeah,
good old Bear.
Matchup. Yeah, Monday night matchup. Yep, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I knew as far I knew the Cowboys were gonna win this game, but I didn't think they were gonna beat them 40-0.
Right.
It was terrible from the start.
Right.
I mean, to me, I think it was just a bad omen. I think the first play, the first time that Dallas scored was on the special teams, the block 40-yard, block field goal, and you just think it just kept on going. It's crazy. It felt like as the rain kept pouring down, it got worse and worse for the Giants. It's almost like it's just really bizarre. Then also the San Francisco, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a. I knew they were going to win that game because I mean San Francisco. I think they're on a revenge tour. Like I think just the fact that they probably think to themselves, hey, they were literally was a quarterback away from essentially beating the Philadelphia Eagles. If Brock Purdy didn't get hurt in the NFC Championship game, we could be talking about this team potentially being the defending Super Bowl champions or at least playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think they're just on a revenge tour. They played well, but yeah. So I mean, it was a lot somewhat surprising in week one. Week one was and plus we also had last week got picks. We had some college mixed in as well, but that was somewhat of a crapshoot. We don't have none this week because the matchups in college football are trash. Like there's no two teams that are two top 25 teams playing against each other. We don't have like an Ole Miss versus Tulane this week. We don't have an Alabama, Texas this week. So we're gonna stick primarily with our NFL picks, and we'll get that towards the end of the show tonight. But yeah,
I didn't even know we still got Matt Canada as offensive coordinator. I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you serious? That's why we still having the same issues, even for the last 3-4 years. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing where that's going, and we talked about the Giants and the Cowboys, and it's funny to think, that game was played in the Meadowlands. It was a bad omen for the Giants. We had some crazy stuff happen there. Then fast forward to the next night where the Bills and the Jets played on Monday Night Football in the same stadium in the Meadowlands, where essentially in the fourth play of the opening draft for the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers goes down with what at that time, which is an apparent injury, which we later found out he tore his Achilles, and his season is officially over. So, man, what's your thoughts on this whole Aaron Rodgers situation with the Jets?
It's sad, you know what I mean, and it seems like there's a lot of, I mean, it's sad, it's one of those things that probably for him, he's been kind of on a loophole for a couple of years now about if he really want to keep playing football or he don't, you know what I mean? And I think this situation right here is going to help him really make that decision if he really wants to play football or not. You know what I mean? From what I heard today, some people that's kind of close to him say that he's going to want to play football again. You know what I mean? It was a lot of it's, you know what I mean? I think that's my main thing. It's sad they don't put so much money into it. They don't put so much attention onto it. And the cool thing about Aaron Rodgers was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be a part of it. I'm not gonna be negative about it. He wrote it, and 4 plays in, that happens. That sucks. You know what I mean? Really sucks for Jets. I'm gonna be honest with you, out of everybody, it sucks for him. Because I know it probably most likely what exactly he was doing. It sucks for the franchise. It definitely sucks for the fans. But he's still there. You know what I mean? And it's a few things they need to do there. They probably need to fix their O-line to protect Zach. I like Zach Wilson myself. He beat us last year. We beat him up in the first half, and he fought through it, and he beat us. So I don't know what happened to make them be so negative. I don't really. Even when somebody was trying to explain to me, it still didn't make sense. But Aaron Rodgers is still there. There's still some veterans there. They still can make their way. You know what I mean? And they won the game. They beat the Bills. And Bills is one of those teams that everybody's looking to do something. So, for me, that's all I really can say about it. I just, I think everybody right now, I just hope the best for him and he's able to recover.
Yeah. And that's one thing, too, where you look even in that game, they won the battle, but they've lost the war.
Right.
With Aaron Rodgers. And it's so sad to think of his age.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think he'll be 40 in November. So you look at that kind of injury, him essentially rehabbing at the age of 40, coming off this injury. And I don't think we necessarily have had a athlete has the same type of injury this late in his career. And I've thought about it even since Monday. The only person I could think that really was like that was Kobe Bryant. But even though I think Kobe Bryant was probably like 33 or 34 years old. So it is a difference between 33 and 39 in a grand scheme of things. But Yeah, it's definitely disheartening. I mean, especially and I know essentially, I know he's going to want to come back because I know he doesn't want
Hmm.
to essentially go out like this. Just considering the fact that this is going to be like his new, his second life essentially as far as NFL wise, and I really feel sorry for. And it's crazy when you look at this situation. It's eerily similar to 1999, and it's almost like it's deja vu all over again. You look at how the Jets, how they
Hmm.
positioned themselves in 1998. They made the AFC Championship game. They brought in a guy, Vinny Testaverde.
Right.
Not saying that Vinny Testaverde is like a four-time MVP or like Aaron Rodgers, but they brought in a guy like him that was going to essentially put them over the top. He gets hurt in the second quarter of that opening game in 1999. And if you
Wow.
ever, if anybody ever want to YouTube Keyshawn Johnson crying, and you will see the press conference. I mean, he is like he's distraught, like hearing the news about Vinny Testaverde. It's eerily similar, and it's so crazy the parallels between the two, because essentially fast forward to 2022, where this team was a verge on the verge of being a playoff team,
Hmm.
and bringing Aaron Rodgers to kind of bring them over the top, a la what they did, in 1999 with Vinny Testaverde. But the thing about it is, man, it's just it's disheartening, and it's crazy because how everything happened Monday night. Because it's like you knew initially, but everybody still kind of had that glimmer of hope, or maybe
Right.
something. But then once they said that the X-rays was negative, I was like, yeah, it's over, because you wanted to think, hey, okay, well, maybe this is just like a high ankle sprain or maybe a broken ankle or something, which an
Hmm.
X-ray would see something like a broken ankle. So you're like, yeah, that was negative. And then Robert Saleh said at the end of the game that didn't look good. So it's kind of one of those where once the confirmation came yesterday with the MRI, we knew that was official. But yeah, man, you know,
Sad, you know.
yeah, and hopefully Aaron Rodgers can come back and be back at the age of 40, and essentially control his NFL career at this point.
Yeah.
So we shall see, but it's yeah,
They said they got him till 2025.
yeah,
So, now surgery is going to take about a year. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, you know,
yeah,
and then like when I got today, like they was like, hey man, you usually predict right what the guy was saying. He was like, man, I think he wants to play. I think he won't. I think because he done went through all these things, different trainings with the Jets. So like even I'm gonna be honest with you, even just watching Colorado, the Buffaloes with Dion, I feel like it's kind of revising football in general, where people are bringing that energy, that passion that is sometimes it's hard for people to find. You know what I mean? It's helping people that's being inspired to want to talk about, you know what I mean, want to talk about them and want to talk about football. So I wonder, some of the announcers and analysts, it seem like they're being inspired too. You know what I mean? They're going back to when they were young, and that coach was giving those speeches and things of that nature. So I'm sure he saw that, and then everything he went through with the Jets, and say, man, that to be the four plays into, you know what I mean? Because it seemed like
yeah,
everybody was excited. It even seemed like the media was buying into him. You know what I mean? That's probably one of the best things that happen when it comes to New York, to be to deal with the media. You know what I mean? So it's really sad. You know what I mean?
yeah. And you just hope that his body can sustain that as far as that rehab process for him, and
Hmm.
like you said a little earlier, where he's been on the fence about not playing for quite some time.
Right.
Could this be a situation where this could be like the end of it? So
Right.
as time progresses, we'll see how this all play out. But yeah, it's definitely very disheartening. So we talked about the Aaron Rodgers component. So we definitely got to talk about literally the Jets. Essentially, what
Right.
is the future for this New York Jets franchise? What's your thoughts? I know they've been talking to a few quarterbacks. I know
Right.
some that they've had officially. They talked to Carson Wentz. I think they reached out to even Matt Ryan, a couple of veteran quarterbacks, and what have you. And then there's also some rumblings of trades of backup quarterbacks they could potentially get. So what do you think is next for this Jets team?
I mean, no offense. Like I said, Zach's been there. Last year was his first year, right?
That was his second.
That was his second year, so he's been there 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
So he's been there. He's been with the Jets for 3 years. So, and you got to give him a chance until you can figure out have somebody to back him up. You know what I mean? And figure out. From what I was seeing today, they said the offensive line is kind of weak. Maybe fix that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe fix that. But me, from the time I started working, being on the show, I said, man, there's a lot of people that have a lot of responsibilities. Offensive coordinators, you got scouts, you got all these different people in the box. Like, man, y'all got to draw up something that's going to be the best for Zach Wilson or whoever the quarterback is. You know what I mean? Like, that's what make y'all professional. That's what make y'all the experts. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Go get a Wentz or Matt Ryan, but man, Zach been there 3 years. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, QB1 is definitely going to be Zach Wilson because obviously he's the number 2 overall pick in the 2021 draft. You really need to see what this kid is all about. And I understand, like, it would be a great story for him essentially to kind of rebound because last year, I mean, the locker room was pretty much a pro Mike White locker room. So essentially no one wanted him to be the quarterback. So this could be a situation where he could potentially get himself together. But I do think they do need to get a quarterback in the event that something happens to Zach.
Right.
And I've seen some ones and it's crazy to think the Carson Wentz thing, I don't think that's a bad idea considering the fact his mobility has definitely had a slight decline. It's fell off the cliff. So you look at with that bad offensive line, he's not gonna survive that. I mean, you look at even in this past situation, even you look at last year with Washington, where we had somewhat of a makeshift offensive line. He was getting crushed because he doesn't have that Philadelphia ability where he can kind of he still got a little bit of mobility, but it's not like the 2017 before he got hurt mobility.
Right.
Matt Ryan, he's a statue in the pocket. Keep him at CBS. Right. Don't even do nothing.
Go call Cam.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, don't call Cam. No, because he'll be another one where he'll be a distraction as well. He'll be somebody who will be a distraction, unfortunately. Especially in New York, the bright lights, no. I mean, yeah. And the only, I mean, I was, if it was, I don't know. I've even heard them saying that I've heard this, and it's not, I don't think it's something that's Jets, like official. I know, like, some guys that might be lingering around as far as that are on rosters, like you look at like somebody like Teddy Bridgewater in Detroit, Jacoby Brissett in Washington, as some I think could be some potential, at least with they're mobile and they'll be able to kind of at least be Zach's backup. Because I think that's what you really look at. You want to kind of acquire depth. And also I think even bring in maybe a guy back like Joe Flacco, which I mean Joe Flacco, and you talked about Bear, talk to him about how Joe Flacco beat the Browns last
year. I would do that off top. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Because he was I would go get him. I would go get Flacco.
And so that's just one of those where you just once you just have to acquire the depth, because essentially you need to get that in place immediately, because you got to think about it. You don't want something happen to Zach Wilson and then you really are like up the creek.
Right.
So they definitely need to acquire some depth, and that's why it's always like, and even though I think it's always important to have a third quarterback in your with that. I know most time only you still got, I don't know if they got somebody on the practice squad or not or what have you, but I definitely think those are some I think initial guys that could potentially be Zach Wilson's backup. But But my boy Joey Douglas, the pride of Mechanicsville, Virginia, man, I would have loved to be in his spot most of the time, but a week like this week, right. I do not envy what he's doing because Lord, he got a problem on his hand.
That's the beauty of having also these other leagues. You know what I mean? Like the what is it, the CFL and USFL and XFL, because you can't find a quarterback. At least you have those other leagues, and maybe you can get a quarterback from one of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they can show, because like I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, it's the same names that's been tossed around for what the last 6-7 years. You know, Brissett, Bridgewater, Fitzpatrick. What is you think they might call him?
He retired.
I know he retired.
He's there. He's done because remember he had that bad hip injury with us.
Right.
And he retired. Like he's like, no, I'm done. Okay. Oh no, he gonna be on Amazon tomorrow night.
But you understand what I'm saying? It's the same name. Yeah. And I'm just saying, just to be positive, like that's the beauty of having those other leagues, because at least you have some film where you can say, hey, we can get that guy right there. That guy was the top XFL quarterback. Let's bring him in. He's mobile, you know.
And most of those, when you look at those names, like we talked about the backups, they have had starter experience as well, right. And they've had opportunities where they can at least keep a team afloat in the event of emergency. That's why you'll always see, because the quarterback position is really hard. That's why like a lot of people like you see the same people, because it's hard. It's hard to get.
Right.
You know, it's literally maybe 64 quarterbacks essentially. Right. You know, you back up and whatever. You also got third string guys, but I mean, it is a very hard position, and them bringing somebody in, at least right. You look at those ones where could they adjust to the system, you know, quickly to right. To Nathaniel Hackett's system? Could they? Right. And that's why it's like you kind of always see, like you said, the ones that just lingering around, because right. They've been proven. They've been
right.
been proven.
And they know they roll too. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
yeah,
I know you're gonna start. It's all good. We work together. I'll be second string. If you need for me to start, coach, I'll start. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know. Dude, what do you think about Trubisky? You think they should get Trubisky?
I mean, I wouldn't mind that. Especially considering the fact that they know that, you know, Kenny's a guy there, and right. You know, why not get him and, you know, salvage it? Because I mean, honestly, and I hate to kind of bring up the past, but I mean, he can literally have like a 2018 year where, not saying he could be a Pro Bowler, but if you look at how the Jets played Monday, where if they can get a situation where they can force turnovers like they did like Monday,
right.
And you have like a guy like a Mitch Trubisky who can just, you know, dink and dunk, just get
right.
it, get it done potentially. And you look at how good Breece Hall was Monday night. You look right. At that couple with that running game. Garrett Wilson, he get that jump ball. It's good, and that's why like if he could become like their backup to Zach Wilson, I think that would be good as well too. I think he could have like kind of what happened in Chicago, where they really, you know, their defense showed out, you know, to a point where they got to and made, you know, made it went to the playoffs. So,
and see, for me
I definitely think he's there.
For me too, man. You think about it. Zach knows Aaron Rodgers out. Nobody knows. We're not even thinking about if he's coming back right now. In their mind, he's coming back. You know what I mean? So this gives Zach Wilson a chance to show his real skills, show that he's a winner, show that he can put up the numbers, show that he's not arrogant or immature like they try to say. You know what I mean? They try to say that he was. He could change. He's been there 3 years. Just give him a chance to really show out. You know what I mean? And he gonna be mentored in some type of way. You know what I mean? Because regardless, Aaron Rodgers come back. Aaron Rodgers QB1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he'll be around this year too. So that's one thing right. too, where it'd be good for Zach Wilson to kind of learn and even see how good he played in the preseason. He played really good in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, you know, Monday was an anomaly. He didn't play really good on Monday.
Right.
But I don't know if it was one of those where was he even ready to be in a game like that? Because right. Obviously, you know, so now you look at, you know, now he has essentially a full week of practice.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what he can. Actually,
Who they play?
Dallas.
They play Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, in Dallas. So So yeah, we'll find out really soon about this Jets team. Really, really soon. So. But I tell
Right.
you, I mean, when that happened, I don't know. Part of me was like, ooh, that Christmas Eve matchup against the Jets
Uh-huh.
might not be as bad as I envisioned. But even though we've been pretty good against Aaron Rodgers in the past. I think last time he really beat us was like when they beat us in the playoffs. But yeah, that Christmas Eve matchup looking really, really winnable. But I thought about that today. I didn't think about it Monday night, but it's almost been 48 hours after that. But I'm like, yeah, but it's just me thinking a little bit selfishly with my
Right.
little burgundy and gold bias.
Right.
Yeah. So, and obviously, week one, and it's always something that happens or something that makes you think like, all right, this is time to overreact. So, do you have a week one overreaction?
Yeah, I might not have done it right, but my overreaction is I feel like I got what one, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 quarterbacks that were in with new teams that I felt like this game showed them they're going to be the quarterback for these teams' future. If that's my big, and that was one
Okay.
thing that I was looking for. The first one is Jordan Love. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Putting up 38 points against the Bears, and we had big feelings that the Bears was going to be able to push forward, and the Bears didn't look as good as we thought. So they Jordan Love, I got Baker Mayfield. Like it was 2 runs Baker Mayfield ran where he actually ran over defenders, and they won the game. And I felt like, okay, you coming off a Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl team. This is Tom Brady was there, and I think they just saw how much heart that we've always said Baker Mayfield has. You know what I mean? And I think he rallied that team to say, okay, you really trying to ball. Um, Derek Carr, the way he was throwing that ball down to Michael Thomas. How long have they been looking for a quarterback?
Since Drew Brees retired.
Since Drew Brees retired, and I think they got their quarterback now. And then Jimmy G. Like Jimmy G went out there and did what he's supposed to do. It was times he was running all over the place. It was times that and I felt like, um, was it Adams? Like I felt like Adams was really like, okay, I could deal with this. You know what I mean? He seemed like he was a little unhappy last year, but I think this year, I think you know what I'm saying, I got my quarterback now. And last is Sam Hall, and I hope that you can elaborate on this too. I felt like you said his name is Howell, right?
Sam
Sam
Howell,
Howell.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I felt like y'all got a quarterback. That's just the first time I felt like
Yeah.
y'all had a quarterback since RG3. He was a little rusty at certain times, but he's a rookie. You know what I mean? And I felt like that Commander Love and DC gonna show him love because he put his heart out there to win that game yesterday. And it's like all
Oh,
of
yeah.
them had like these special runs by the touchdown or first down that I think really pumped up the team. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest um, overreaction.
Yeah. But yeah. Um, Maz is a little to me. I think the AFC East is sold up. I definitely think I look at
Yeah,
the Miami Dolphins as a team
yeah,
for sure is going to win this division now. I mean, you
yeah,
look at everything that happened with the Jets.
yeah,
You look at just a simple fact of Aaron Rodgers is out.
yeah.
The Bills situation don't look good.
At all.
Obviously, even though Josh Allen is gonna have three interceptions and a lost fumble each game, but there's something with that him and Diggs it's carrying over from January, and now it's like I don't even think there's going to be a game essentially where I think that this thing can be recovered. I
Mm-hmm.
looked at what Miami did. Because I even talked about it in the preview where I looked at Miami as kind of one of those teams where they can make it somewhat of a deep run. But I looked at them as more so of a wild card run. But this team, Miami might have maybe a home game or two in the playoffs. So I mean, I just love
Mm.
what they did. In LA, fourth quarter comeback. Tua Tagovailoa did his thing. He had 466 yards, and that Tyreek Hill, my God, like 215 yards receiving last week and 2 touchdowns. And man, if that's a lethal combination, and if Tua can stay healthy, and once they kind of get their defense together, and then you bring back a Jalen Ramsey, the SAS guard, it come January. I mean, not January, come December, man, it's going to be a problem. And I definitely think that this AFC East, Dolphins fans, pre-order your 2023 AFC Championship shirts and hats. It's a wrap.
Man, let me tell you that you right, and I almost went that way. Because I was like, yeah, they remind me of the Eagles last year.
They legit.
Mm-hmm.
They legit, and if they can get high quick, it's gonna be interesting. Because to me, especially with that Tyreek Hill and Tua combination, then you got to still think about you got Waddle there, Maserati there,
and he didn't run, and Tua didn't run much. He was in that pocket.
Yeah, it's the AFC East is gonna wrap. It's a 1-team deal. Even though I think Buffalo still think Buffalo gonna make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna have a clear champion in this division.
You don't think Bill Belichick gonna figure it out?
What do you mean? I don't know.
The Patriots is scary because you be like, man, they ain't gonna do well. The next thing you know, they don't won like 3 or 4 games back to back. You like, oh wow. I think
but they almost came back against Philly. So that's one thing where. And I think this game is at New England. I think the Sunday night game, I think that's going to be in New England. So that's definitely going to be an interesting game, to say the least. But I got my money. And even if so, Miami win this division. Miami going to make a run. The run to the Super Bowl might come through Miami.
Just be healthy. That's all I want. I want them to make it through a whole joint.
And this all contingent on health. And hell, even if Mike White come in, they're a wild card team.
Right, they nasty though.
Like I said, even if Mike White deal, they still can make the playoffs.
Right.
But they got Tua. They might get the number 2 seed in the AFC. They'll get one of the top seeds in the AFC. They can host a playoff game for sure.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. So, and shout out to my guy. Shout out to my guy Wise, my NFC Beast brethren, representing the New York Giants. Hey, it's all love. Hey, man. But hey,
I'm hurt, bro.
But yeah, man. Shout out to my guy Wise.
Mm-hmm.
And you can check us and the fellas on Saturday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. NFC Beast. You can check that out on the Couch Coach Live Twitter X page. So definitely check this out on Saturday nights. So, moving the calendar forward to now, we're gonna talk about this great slate of games this weekend. So, what is your game to watch this weekend?
I looked through them all, man. I got 2. I'm definitely gonna say the Ravens versus the Bengals, and then definitely my personal one, since Bear called, the Browns versus Steelers.
Okay. Yeah, I got one, and it's crazy because, and like we talked about it, kind of teased it earlier. College, there ain't really no good games on college because the only one I'm probably gonna watch in college, I'm probably gonna fall asleep. That's Colorado versus Colorado State because that's the 10 o'clock p.m. game. I'm gonna be asleep. I mean, by halftime, I'm gonna be knocked out. Especially if I sit on the sofa. It's a wrap. I'll wake up Sunday morning. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, so the game I'm gonna more likely I'm gonna fall asleep on Colorado versus Colorado State. But the one I'll be wide awake for is the and it will be Kansas City versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think obviously this is a rematch of last year's divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, also obviously we know that Kansas City won 27-20 on their way to win the Super Bowl. Classic matchup between Mahomes versus Trevor Lawrence. We always talked about this could potentially be the next, like we all, because we deem Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes is going to be somewhat of a rivalry.
Right.
This might take its place in the sense because we all know there's a right between him and Joe Burrow. So, maybe this is another one where it goes. And you're looking at Jacksonville Jaguars as a home game, so it's gonna be probably ruckus there. So it's gonna be a definitely a huge game in Jacksonville. Everybody will come out for that game in Jacksonville. Jacksonville come off that road win against Indianapolis last week.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at Kansas City coming off essentially 10 days of rest after losing to Detroit. Could the defending Super Bowl champions fall to 0-2?
Right.
So it's a lot of intrigue in this game, and it's just one of those where a lot, even though it's early, but this a lot could be on the line where could this Jacksonville Jaguar team start 2-0, or could this Chiefs team uh, fall to 0-2? So definitely that is concerned. So after who shots I got Wise, he chimed in. Jets versus the Jets at Dallas. Yes, that's definitely a good game because now you're looking at, especially both teams kind of coming off of, these are the two Meadowland winners. MetLife winners on Sunday. So you look at that matchup. Dallas is Dallas their first home game of their home opener this year.
Right.
You're bringing the Jets team now, like you said. Now Zach Wilson knows he prepared the whole entire week that he's going to be the starter.
Right.
What he's going to do against this Dallas team, and then Dallas coming off of that win last Sunday, can they will they show that was that game essentially was a fluke, or this is just something that we're going to see going forward? Even though we're not going to prove it that week necessarily, but it's just week in and week out and seeing what they can do against this Jets team. But that's definitely an interesting matchup.
And you going up against they saying the number one defense, and the way they went at them Giants, they are looking to come in there and do the same thing against the Jets. So I hope that the Jets have Zach Wilson and that offensive line prepared, man, because you don't want Zach getting hurt too, because that Cowboy defense is just as bad as that 49ers defense, and they looking for blood, like. Because I think they protected and really kind of like protecting their offense. You know what I mean? Like, we just go take it over. Y'all just maintain the game,
Yeah. And then the other thing with the Jets, they got pretty good defense as well. And I think you look at they had 4 turnovers in that game against the Bills. And, now you got a guy,
right?
Even though the media says Dak Prescott in all these interceptions, but Josh Allen is worse as far as when it comes to interceptions since I think pretty much since he's been in the league. So he's one, can this Jets team be opportunistic when it comes to these turnovers, and can they force those turnovers? Because that's essentially how they won that football game. I mean, in my personal opinion, because if they wouldn't have got those timely turnovers, this game would have been out of reach. So. Yeah.
Right. So that's a good one too. That's a real good one.
Absolutely. Yes, and that's one thing where you got a lot of good games this week, especially from a NFL perspective. And I think NFL will never disappoint as far as when it comes to matchups, per se. So.
And for me, before we move on, like, I feel like that is game one. I think like there's a few teams that got like the Vikings. I want to say the Broncos. There's a few teams that I feel like may be better that took loss, even my team, and it's like they got a rude awakening. So it's going to be real interesting when each game, during the season, like them carved to figure out a way and adjustments to figure out a way so they can get into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I know my team gonna figure out somehow to have a winning season, but eventually, that's great for Tomlin. But people gonna start looking at Tomlin's situation and say, hey man, I mean that's great but that's all he keeps staying at the same level. You know what I'm saying? Like just a little bit over over 500, making his way into the playoffs just for one game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna have to say something. Like, when we gonna make some moves so we can really be? I mean, them 49ers look dangerous.
Yeah. That's my NFC representative. I mean, I think they're gonna definitely be in the Super Bowl for sure. So yeah, that's my NFC favorite. So for sure. So we do our pick 7, our 7 picks that we're gonna do. So last week we both went 4-3. So this got to be the week where we got to break this tie, and we'll have bragging rights coming to the show next week.
Right.
So we have a Thursday night, tomorrow night matchup. Don't forget Amazon Prime at 6:55. Put it on your everybody. 6:55, and I guarantee you at 6:59 that thing will circle around, and you'll have Amazon there telling Rooks to be on there by 7:05. Okay. So don't relax, guys. This is not a drill. Get your apps ready. This is the beginning of Amazon Prime Video. So Thursday night we have the Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Who you got in this matchup?
I got the Vikings winning 32-28.
Okay. I think it's going to be almost eerily similar. I think last year they played in week 2. But this is a Monday Night Football game.
Right.
Give me the Eagles, and it's their home opener. Give me the Eagles. All right. So we got the boys from the Avenue. They're not at the bite this week, but they're going to Cincinnati. Who you got in this matchup?
Oh man, I'm going Ravens 28. I'm Ravens 28. Bengals 14.
Yeah, give me the boys from the Avenue.
Yeah.
And boy, the Cincinnati Bengals at 0-2. Interesting to say the least. But they've been down this road before.
Yes, they have.
So, hey, it is what it is. Man, we got the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, headed to Duval. Who you got in this matchup?
Question, you think they're going to let Chris play?
Chris Jones? Yeah, according to him, he said he's ready. He said, hell, he was ready last week.
Oh, so I got the Jets winning 38-17.
The Jets?
Not the Jets, the Chiefs. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Don't do me like that.
Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars.
What?
That crowd is going to be. This crowd is going to be ruckus, and I'm telling you, something about that. I have a feeling like this is going to literally be one of those games. It kind of, I definitely think this is going to happen, and I cannot wait to everybody talk about it. Everybody and their mom are going to write up the Chiefs at being 0-2. I can see it right now. They will turn against the Super Bowl champions, and I'm telling you and this is when everything going to turn around.
Right.
And our boy Patty Mahomes is going to make everybody look like a fool at the few weeks.
I said that I think they're going to win is because those receivers, especially Tony, disappointed Patrick Mahomes, and everybody been on Tony's head. You know what I mean? Which is, from what everybody's saying, is his fault. And then Chris Jones coming. You know what I'm saying? Coming back, I think that's gonna spark something. So that's why I said, he's gonna tear them up.
And dude, that's funny. Speaking of that. So I don't know if did you see First Take?
Yes, I saw.
They talked about it, and it was funny. He was like, "Yeah, you see Skip? Hey, Skip." He's like, you over here, because Tony was he was trolling some of the Giants after they obviously when they lost to Dallas, and he's just like, see here, Skip. I'm like, oh, hey, yo, but yeah, I definitely think that Jags will get that. Then we got a 4:00 game. We got the Jets versus the Arlington football team. Who you got?
I got the Jets 24, the Arlington football team 22.
Okay. Give me the Arlington football team. That'd be 2-0 going into week 3.
Come on,
then
Jets.
Make me right. Make me wrong for sure. Then we got the Sunday night football game. That's our boy Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and the crew. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the Dolphins and the Patriots. Who you got in this matchup?
I got the Dolphins versus the Patriots. I got the Dolphins winning 30-10.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the Miami Dolphins as well. They'll, be 2-0. Road Warriors at 2-0, and
Right.
they come back to the crib eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a double header Monday night special. We got
Good.
the Saints versus the Panthers at the real bank. Baltimore, don't kill me. Both of them got bank stadiums, but this is the other bank. This is the bank of the South. You the bank of the Mid Atlantic. So we got the Saints versus the Panthers at the bank, at the other bank.
I got the Saints losing to the Panthers 20-24.
Give me the Panthers. I think this is going to be a game. I think Bryce Young is going to have someone with a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I think, obviously he'll be under the lights, even though he's no stranger to being under the lights. Obviously, all those nights, again, playing for Alabama and winning national championships and Heisman's as well. But this will be a good game for him.
Right.
So we got to end our pick 7. We on our Monday night, the game. We got the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who you got?
I got the Steelers winning 22-17.
Okay. Yeah, man. Give me the Cleveland Browns.
Of course.
Cleveland Browns are going to win this game. 2-0 start potentially. So it's a possibility. It's a distinct possibility that this could potentially happen. And Deshaun Watson on the road. We'll see.
Right.
But so we'll put a bow on tonight's Couch Coach Live. So we gotta get into our game ball and our final thoughts. We do the game ball first. Who you get? Who gets this week game ball for you?
I got a 50-50 ball. I got 2. I'm giving the first one. I'm giving it to the show Winning Time, of course. The last episode was Retired, and it was about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It introduced Moses Malone, so it was real interesting. It was a pretty good episode. The second one is Tua. I'm giving the game ball to Tua. He versus the Chargers. He got, as Coach said earlier, 466 yards, 3 TDs, 1 interception, with 110 passing rating. Tua was balling.
Yeah. So my game ball goes to, and it's funny. Everybody know I got a couple nephews. We got Joe Montana Trubisky is one of my nephews. Sam Howell's my nephew. Drake May, all the Carolina guys. Essentially, I like my nephews. I do have a few little nieces here and there, like Deja Kelly from UNC. Couple of little ones, but I adopted a new niece this weekend. And I got a huge shout out to my new niece, Coco Gauff.
Yeah.
Winning the 2023 U.S. Open. So this is the first teenager to win the U.S. Open since Venus Williams in 1999.
Wow.
So huge shout out to Coco Gauff. Man, she gonna be a problem. I'm telling you, once she gonna be a problem. I'm telling you, by the time she get about 22, 23 and hit her stride, it's gonna be a wrap. She gonna have what, as the young kids say, she's gonna have a chokehold on women's tennis. But I definitely huge shout out to my honorary niece, Coco Gauff. Keep doing your thing, and it's crazy because she keeps growing, and it's crazy about it's like she's mature, and even at 19 years old. So it's one of those things where it's like she's really mature, composed, and I'm loving that. And then in the beauty thing about all that, she's gonna get older and more wiser, and it's gonna be a wrap for any of her opponents come about 2-3 years.
Right.
You just wrap it up because my niece coming. My niece coming through. So shout out to my niece Coco Gauff. So final thoughts before we head on out tonight.
Man, great show. Can't wait till next week. Interesting first, first week of NFL. Want to give a shout out to Michael Irvin. They saying that he won his lawsuits. Um, Congratulations. You know what I mean? Hey, and I'll tell you say something off air about that, but that's what's up.
But yeah, shout out to Irv. Hey, we knew this day was gonna happen, but it finally came. So definitely huge shout out to Irv.
Right.
He got it, got his thing. But yeah, man. Once again, another great show. So pretty much, essentially, a few things. We got obviously, check out the podcast anywhere you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, on the Couch Coach Live, social media, Facebook, X, aka Twitter, Couch Coach Live, YouTube as well, TikTok, Couch Coach Live as well. Check out the website as well, couchcoachlive.com. Have an article on there, my 4 down segment. So pretty much, I do a recap of every of the week that wasn't NFL in a 4 down format. So definitely head on there to couchcoachlive.com. Check out my 4 downs article. It'll be posted generally at midnight on Tuesday morning, or pretty much the conclusion of the Monday Night Football game. So definitely check out that article, and we'll have that for you at least by midnight Tuesday morning. So that's concerned. And yeah, man, so definitely huge shout out to everybody checking us out. Definitely huge shout out to my guy Wise for checking us out tonight, and chiming in and giving his thoughts on a couple of our topics. Definitely huge shout out to him. Yeah, man. So we got great show here, and tomorrow night, check out Commanders in the Chat. That's gonna be that'll be tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Pretty much on the Commanders in the Chat Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube page. And pretty much you just type in Commanders ITC. That'll be Wednesday, but that'll be tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We have our special guest Jordan Long from Under Review Podcast and sportscool.com as we preview our matchup against the Denver Broncos. And as I talked about earlier, I got Wise who chimed in as well. Me, him, Cool, Doug, couple guys, Martin, couple of guys. We'll do our NFC Beast where we'll talk about the NFC East. That's pretty much every Saturday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, man, it's a lot going on, but definitely a lot going on. But hey, it's football season. It's the best time of the year. It's getting active. And definitely.
Right.
And once again, as we talked about it last week, we are proud sponsors of Highland Springs High School football. So check out my guys there. And yeah, man, it's been a great show once again. And man, we'll catch you guys next week. And we're out.
Well.